Hey, welcome in. Welcome to the Elvis Workshop. Thank you again for taking some time out of your day to watch my channel. I do appreciate it. I want to go over the Elvis Now in Person box set a little bit more. I did a video just recently and I covered some of this, but I left a couple things out, and I've also had time to re-listen to the music and take a deep dive on the books. So I thought that it was worthy of a second look. So I want to go over that today. For people that are regular watchers to my channel, you'll know that I don't usually just center on one topic. I go over a couple of other things. So I wanted to cover a couple of things real quickly and then get into the Now in Person box set. I'm popping my peas. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to. So for those regular watchers, you know the story of how I got into Elvis, and I'm not going to go over that again today. There's other videos I've made that cover that. But I ran across something the other day in the store. I picked it up. I had it on cassette, and I burned that thing to the ground. I listened to it so much. And I picked this up on vinyl the other day, so I want to talk about something that's on it. So this is not rare, hard to get, anything like that. But it's a legendary performer, and this specific volume, I had several of them on cassette, but this specific volume really impacted me the most. And so the other day I was just walking through the store. I see it all the time, but I didn't have it on vinyl. And for some reason, I decided now was the time to pick it up. So I grabbed it. And on the way out, I'm walking through the parking lot going to my Jeep, and I see on the back there's something here. And this is what I wanted to share this for. I listened to this thing. It made such an impression on me. I just spun it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And I don't remember seeing this on the cassette. I'm sure it's there. It's been so many decades ago. But I just wanted to read this little thing. There's a lot on the back here. I don't want to read all of it, but I just want to read this little thing. It made quite an impression on me because what they write here actually happened to me. And that's why I wanted to share this with you today. Glowing with an energy that transcends time, these are performances which will recall fond memories for collectors and bring the joy of new discovery to young audiences. That's exactly what this thing did to me. When I was hearing this for the first time, it was new to me. Everything on here was new to me. I'd never heard That's All Right before. This was the release that opened my ears up to his very first Sun release is 209. Is this. So I just wanted to share that today. Another thing is I love dated material. I love things that have traceable dates on them, or that you can tell were released specifically during a certain time period or a window of time. So I love this thing here. By request on 45 RPM, Elvis sings memories from his special TV album, Tongue Twister. Coming soon, a new album from Elvis in Memphis. No cover art. Just says From Elvis in Memphis, but they got the title right because it didn't get changed. Sometimes it gets changed, and like the Standing Room Only, there's advertisements for that. It never came out. Backside, Elvis sings Charo from the National General picture Charo, and then it says people that are involved with the movie. But then at the bottom it says see Charo at a theater near you. Pretty cool. So this can be dated to within a few weeks of its release. I love stuff like that, so I picked that up right away. Next thing. This is like a holy grail for book. That's the second video in a row I did that. I gotta reassess myself. This is a holy grail for Elvis book collectors for many, many years, and it's finally been re-released. So I'm just going to tell you this because that's how I think we should all do business. I'm not. This isn't a rat race to me. I don't care who sells it or who buys it or whatever. This is from John Daly from the Elvis Presley, from the EP Boulevard Pawn Shop. He reprinted this book, and I think that is fantastic. What a move by John. So not only is it reprinted, but each one is signed by the author. Each copy comes autographed by Donna Lewis. It's called Hurry Home Elvis, Donna Lewis's Diaries, Volume 3, 1969 to 77. For those of you that are uninitiated, don't know what this is or who this is, Donna Lewis's father worked for security at Graceland. He worked the gate, and he also did rounds around the house at all hours of the day. And his daughter, which is the author, kept detailed diaries. Her plan was to write a book. It got rejected at the time in 1977 because the company she submitted it to said she wasn't a relative, a girlfriend, or an employee, I think is what it was. Or maybe just she wasn't an employee or wasn't a girlfriend, so they weren't interested. But she kept detailed diaries at the time with the intention of writing a book. And so what this is basically a day-to-day of what's going on in Elvis's life through this teenager's eyes. and it's fascinating to read. On October 29th, 1976, Elvis was recording at Graceland. It was rainy and cold. Her father, doing security, took her into the house, put her into the barber room, which is on the opposite side of the music room, and left her in there so she didn't have to be out in the cold and the rain. And she ended up kind of going into the house at one point, into the main house, and saw Elvis pacing back and forth. And she said she didn't say anything to him. He was wearing all black, and she said he seemed agitated. She didn't want to bother him, but she was in the house during at least one day or evening of the Jungle Room sessions, and she said that she overheard a lot of conversations. When they were moving the RCA truck into the backyard, Elvis was not happy about it. He asked if he could hear a replay of a song, and they said that the truck didn't have the capability to replay a song, and so he wasn't thrilled about that. But this book, she just talks about everything that was happening in real time with no agenda. She's not out to get anybody. She doesn't care about anybody one way or the other. She just wrote down what she saw. So for a long time, I believe this thing was self-published, and there were 300 or maybe 400 copies. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I've heard from several people, 300 or 400 original copies. So this thing was so hard to get, and it's been reprinted. If you're interested in a copy, and again, I'm not selling this to anybody, I'm just telling you what I like, and if you like it, I'm going to tell you how to get it. I don't have any skin in the game. I'm not getting paid for this, anything like that. If you just go to eBay and type Donna Lewis Elvis, this will pop up, Donna Lewis Elvis, and it's from the EP Boulevard Pawn Shop. So go get yourself a copy of this book. If you like the private side of Elvis, this is a book for you, and it's extremely detailed, and it's a good read. There are 2 other volumes, but this is the one you really want to get. So check it out. Or don't, but I think you should. So what I want to talk about here was, and this is going to be very brief. I'm not going to do an unboxing. I've seen probably 15 videos online about that. I pulled it out my last video and kind of opened it up and showed you a little bit. But I wanted to say, so I'm going to pull this book out because I'm going to kind of use it as a little bit of a cheat sheet. So one is I showed you on page, I believe it was 110. The page doesn't really matter, right? Does it? The references, the musical references, the releases that were used for the On Tour project and that included bootlegs, which I thought was really fascinating. I don't know that that's been done before. It probably has, but to have an official product showing bootlegs, I thought was very interesting. One that they did not include, which would have been cool if they did, from Richmond to Greensboro, this Rock Legends double CD. Wow, the sound on this thing is so phenomenally good. So they didn't include that, but they didn't include every single bootleg. There's too many out there. But I wanted to use this as a little bit of a cheat sheet. I'm going to show you a couple of photos from inside this book. I honestly can't remember if I put them in the last video or not, so I'm going to throw them in right here. But I wanted to talk about the music that's on here. The book is really good, the main book over here. What it does is it shows basically newspaper articles, concert tickets, backstage passes, photos from the specific shows or rehearsals in dated order. That's what the book is, okay? But the CD package, and I said in my last video that this book had a lot of screenshots and I didn't really understand why. This is basically a breakdown of the whole movie, so they just use screenshots because it just makes sense. So it'd be nice to have other photos, but they're probably just not available. So what they did is they do a whole layout of the movie in this book and then go over all the specific recordings that were made on that specific day and what was in the movie and what wasn't and all that stuff. So this is actually a really good technical layout of the book itself. So I wanted to talk very briefly about the music and then we'll get out of here for today. I want to tell you, CD1. CD1 is live in Las Vegas, which is odd, you might think, because the movie Elvis on Tour is basically the Eastern Seaboard and doesn't have anything to do with Vegas, but it actually does have stuff to do with Vegas. So if you get the set, it's all explained. But the CD1 is a compilation of different performances from several different shows in Vegas, but the audio is so well done that it streams perfectly and it's seamless. You don't realize it's going from show to show. But the sound, the mix on this, and I'm not talking about Elvis's performance in the band, I'm talking about the mix and the sound on the CD. I probably have 200 CDs behind me, probably more. FTD, majority of them. This single CD on CD1 of this set is by far the best sound of anything that I've ever heard. as far as an Elvis release. It's the best. It's just the best. I don't know what Matt did or what how they got it to sound this good, but it's amazing. It sounds great. Now the end of the CD, so there's a full show, and then the end, the last like 6 or 7 songs, they kind of repeat. There's 3 or 4 songs, and they kind of repeat each other themselves. So it gets a little redundant at the end, but the sound is just absolutely superb. CD 2, I had mine out before it was realized that there was an issue with disc 2. Most of disc 2 is blank, so I don't have the replacement disc yet, so I can only speak to the first few songs. They sound great. Looking forward to the replacement disc. Disc 3 is the April tour, so it's the same thing that was released on the double LP set, Elvis 72, and it's just basically that on CD, and it sounds just as good as the vinyl one. It's great to have it on CD, so it's a little bit more compact, easier to play than the vinyl, but there's nothing new on there. It's the same stuff. They took off the How Great Thou Art. Well, no, they didn't. It's okay. Chop that out. Here, let's see if I leave that in. I thought they were going to take out the How Great Thou Art. They did not. It is here after the closing vamp. Then they do have the How Great Thou Art. And then CD 4 is the rehearsals. Now, for those of you not familiar with what the rehearsal is, it's in Buffalo, New York. And in the movie Elvis on Tour, you see him wearing this blue jacket that has like these black squares on it like this, and he's playing with his cane, which pulls out as a sword in the elevator, and he's talking to the band members and stuff. So that day, there was a rehearsal held in a ballroom, and it was very, it wasn't supposed to be recorded, but the 2 directors of the film had shoulder cameras, handheld shoulder cameras, and they kind of filmed while Elvis was rehearsing, and that's where they peeled this audio from. The first 2 songs are Burning Love twice. The first time it's Charlie slaughtering the song, and then the second one is Elvis showing up and doing it, and the audio is terrible on both takes. It's terrible. It's unlistenable. It goes, the audio's up and down, it gets super loud, and then it's quiet, and Elvis is off mic, and then Charlie's way off mic, which is good. But then after that, it picks up. The audio gets much, much better. There's a lot of interesting stuff in there that I personally haven't heard. Maybe I've heard it and I don't remember, but I don't think so. There's a lot of in between the song chattering, words being changed during the songs. It's short, but it's interesting, and I'm glad to have it. So I guess the reason I'm doing this is I did a little bit deeper dive into the music, and I wanted to kind of go over that. And I had a friend reach out to me and ask me if this was a must-have purchase. And at the time, I told him, it's very heavy on the book side, with a little bit of music, the majority of which we already have. So he passed on it. But then after I gave it another deeper dive and listened really intently to the CDs and read the books, I actually read the books, novel idea, I called him back, or I messaged him, I said, man, I changed my mind. This is why you should have this, and he immediately ordered it. So I wanted to tell you, if maybe you watched my last video and thought this was worth passing up, listen, if nothing else, if you do it for an investment, it's worth it, because once it sells out, the price on this thing is going to be through the roof. But you should get it to enjoy it. That CD one is worth it. I really hope they release the CDs in this package as a standalone FTD. I think that would be great. Paul does a great job with his books. They're phenomenal, but some people just want the music. This CD one should see Day of Light as a standalone release, if nothing else, but the whole set would be great. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. Nice and short today. I just wanted to talk about a couple things real quick and then get you out of here. Thank you again for watching. I do read all the comments. I try to respond to everything. I really appreciate you watching, and thank you very much. I hope you liked the video, and if you don't, it's because you ain't nothing but a hound dog. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.